Welcome back, guys. Cheers. Today, I'm gonna start on my griddle hack, rehab, customization.
Jeff doesn't like that my grill's better than his. That's what it comes down to. So he's gotta one-up me and come up with something better than the Grease Trap 6000.
Much more elaborate.
That is better than mine, that is better than mine, and the fact that I made it for him, or with him. So I mean, that hurts just as bad.
Yeah.
So with this, I'm gonna be doing a couple videos at least of different things that I wanted to do to make this the perfect griddle for me. And one of them is the
CC
12,000 grease chute of some sort. And I'm gonna have it integrated into the actual cooktop, and that way it'll be under the cover all the time. So that way I don't have to take the grease.
Is that the Camp Chef cover? It is, right?
No, that's
Oh, is that a
actually,
custom- is
that's
that-
a third party guy that makes it online.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really happy with him, so I'm not gonna promote that.
Okay.
No customer service, not even bad, just no anyways. So I came up with a couple different designs and did them out of cardboard because it's a lot easier than doing it out of metal. This is my first rendition, and you know, we'll take you through the steps. Throw that as garbage. But yeah, that's it. So I'll show you the tools, pretty basic stuff, and you know, we'll get to it.
CC 12,000. Let's get it going.
Pretty straightforward as far as the tools go. Nate and Chris give me a hard time about it, but you know, nothing out of the norm.
It's in everybody's garage.
In everybody's
Yeah,
garage.
If
Sure.
you don't have all these tools in your garage, I don't know what you're thinking.
So I'm just gonna use a flap disc sander. Got a cutting blade. I actually got a bunch of cutting blades because you go through those a lot. That's about it. I got my cutoff wheel, welder, and just some
Steel chop saw.
good old-fashioned ingenuity.
Okay, so you guys saw Jeff's basic tool set, as he calls it, right? I don't have those basic tools. Maybe you do. But in any case, let's talk about his design.
Simple design.
It's not a simple design. So he has engineered something to be better than mine, was his main goal. So a couple things that he doesn't like about mine is that the grease is exposed. It's outside, you know, which actually I kind of agree with, because if you forget your grease trap, like if you forget to empty it and it pours rain out and you have the black stone where it's in the back, I know we've all come out and you look at it and it's just full of rainwater and there's grease all over your deck. So he wants to keep it inside. So he doesn't have to worry about rain, he doesn't have to worry about vermin, any of that. He also wants it under the cover. So this chute that he built, the Camp Chef, I see crap chute, Chris says Camp Chef. This is gonna be the chute. This is actually we're gonna punch through the bottom of the griddle. So this is gonna extend slightly below the griddle. It's gonna be connected to the top of the griddle via a coupling that lets you remove it, okay? So when you take your griddle surface off, you're not gonna have this big rod sticking out. And then he's gonna take this and turn it into a drawer where you can pull it in and out.
In theory.
In theory, right? So he's gonna build all of this, by the way, and this is gonna be right under the front there, so that your grease is, even when you have your grease full, it's also protected from the rain. So your grease chute's protected from the rain, this is protected from the rain. I don't know, I kinda like the simplicity of our grease chute 6000, but
This is Jeff.
this is Jeff. Jeff, if you guys don't know this, Jeff overbuilds everything.
Keeping it simple.
This is not simple, this is not simple. And he said he's gonna do it all in 10 minutes.
You don't know what simple is.
No time at all.
You can't even spell it.
He's also never built anything in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that too. So, my CC 12,000
There you go.
right here. Keep Chris happy. Before the guys got here, I just started tinkering. It's the stuff that I have, you know, as far as in the shop. So yeah, it would be nice to have all fresh stuff and new. But anyway, so as you can see, I'm using this as a template and I'm starting to build that shape. So that's the easiest of everything, because then when you flip it over, you see that there's all these angles. Anyways,
Piece of cake for you,
piece
Jeff.
of cake. Well, you know, I'm just gonna get to it. You just take it step at a time, one step at a time, and that's it. All the steps are done, then your project's done. Simple.
Done.
No matter what Nate says. Simple.
All right.
All right, so what Jeff's got me working on is, we did mark this plate, but this whole plate's actually gonna come out. This cutout that you see marked is gonna be made in the bottom. So they've got some spot welds, 4 on each side. I'm just gonna drill them out, get that off. Jeff, what are you working on over there?
I am going to be starting to weld.
So that's out. That's definitely too small. We're making that bigger.
So this is where we got to mark the bottom to cut out, which is going to be interesting. And we're cutting this a little bit big anyways, because we're not going to be using this as a grill ever. So we're not too concerned about having an opening down here.
Let's get to cutting.
That was a lot easier than I expected. All right. Should we cut this to length? Roughly?
No, I would want to do that last.
Well, I mean, we
No,
need,
cut it shorter.
we need-
Oh, rough cut?
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is probably an extra inch beyond this. And this is just a little trick on how to bend metal a little bit easier. Make your marks where your corners are going to be.
Hey, Jeff, you got a little something on your sweatshirt here. Yeah, perfect now. You're good.
So this is the piece that's gonna go around the top.
This is, yeah, so I'm making 2 rings that sit inside of each other.
Yeah.
And this one's going to be mounted to the griddle top. And then this one's going to be mounted to the CC 12,000. So this, you just put in the vise where your score marks are. Gonna have it nice and straight. Bends a lot easier. Got a nice corner there. Looks pretty
The
straight.
level of concentration here is way too high.
Look at that muscle.
Little tap. And you got a pretty good square. Just give that a little weld. Straighten it all out. Looks good. So these are the 2 little coupler rings that's going to attach to the griddle and to the CC 12,000. So now I made that square. I'm just going to close this in. So now this square is going to go on the chute like that. And then this is going to go on the griddle top. So that way it sits right in there, and that way the grease has nowhere to go but down. We're well on our way, guys. Well on our way. And I think we're going to call it for the night. All right, guys, so this I'm just going to throw a tack in, and that way I can adjust the angle once I get this in the griddle. Something like that.
Question.
Yep.
The bottom of the griddle surface has a ring that rests in here.
Yeah.
Are you accommodating that?
Yeah. Going to cut right through it, and the plate.
Just cut it off?
Just the section.
Yeah, okay.
And then the plate too, the distribution plate.
Yeah.
Kind of is in the way too. So I got to notch that, but I got to weld that anyway because it's fucking loose.
So my one concern is I was thinking you might want to, see how you keep holding it in place there? You might want to do your, whatever's going to hold it first so that it's always in the same spot as you do everything else.
Yeah, well, once I get this level, like I push this and I'll get that level, I'll be able to put at least one side piece in, and then that way I'll be able to do a tack.
Oh, you're attaching to the side pieces,
Yeah.
I get you.
All right, guys, so the other griddle guys took off, which is fine. You know, it's time for the real man to work at the griddle guys. I'm just piecing together pieces, you know, like a puzzle. So I got my cardboard out, and I'm just cutting little templates, cutting it out of the steel, welding it together, and we're gonna see how it kind of fits up. But I'm gonna get back to it. I'm tacking everything in place, making sure it works first, and then we'll go from there. I'm trying to stay safe, see how this comes out. Let's get to it. Here. This is all trial and error. Just plug it away. Woo! She's not pretty, but she'll grind up and work perfect. I got this all ground down, cleaned up. Now keep in mind, this is going under the griddle, so like horrible welds, they won't really matter. But now, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna make brackets mounted. So I'm gonna do little brackets. I'm gonna do 2, 3. I'm gonna do 3 brackets. I'm gonna go drill out the holes to fit these screws through, use nut certs to attach to that, and I'll show you how that's done in a second here. I'm gonna go drill out 3 of these. Alright, so now we gotta mount the brackets. I'll show you how that's done. Our center mark is 14 1/8. contraption. It's 5 inches, just under. So we're gonna go to the center mark. And we're gonna go 2.5. Go to the center mark, right there. It's 2.5. There. Obviously there's a little post in the way there, so let's see if I can take that out. Might have to cut that out. But I'm gonna go find a drill bit for these, and so that way I can drill those, and I'll show you how the nut set works. So I got my marks, I got that post out of the way. Got our drill bit, and here we go. So there are our holes. Now this is something that's pretty amazing. These are called nut certs. So what ends up happening, and I'll do a little example on one after this. So you put this in the hole, you use a tool that sandwiches it, and it mushrooms this up and pinches it, and then gives you a threaded hole. This is the nut cert tool. Push it all the way down, and then you squeeze. Now you have a threaded hole, just like that. Put that in, give it a squeeze. That's all she wrote. So now, take our bracket, put them right there. What we're gonna do is drop this in. Right in between those, we're gonna get the height, which I need to make a 2-inch block right there. And we're just gonna throw a tack weld right on the side to hold it, take it out, and then go from there. So let's see if I can get the welder fired up. And what else do I need? I think maybe I'll use a clamp. We'll see. All right, so I clamped that where I wanted it. Just gonna throw a couple tacks in it. We're going to do one more mount down here. All right. There she is. It's a beautiful, beautiful beast right there. Lay her down, kind of get her where she needs to be. Now we should be able to just take this on and off as we wish. The reason why I'm doing these instead of just welding it right to the camshaft is that the camshaft is made out of stainless steel, and you need a special welder or different gas from my welder to do that. Drill that hole out a little bit more. And that's it. Now we got to figure out how to have this match up or made up to the underside of the griddle. But I think that's going to be for another night because I'm tired and things start to go bad when you're tired, so you got to know when to call it. But anyways, we're almost there. I'll pick this up tomorrow, put it all together, and we'll get the top done. And I want to put a cover on it too. Day 2. So I got my griddle top right here upside down. I got my CC 12,000 mounted in the griddle and kind of ground down and cleaned up a little bit. I'm still gonna do a little more work to that, but this, now I need to mount this coupler to the griddle top so that way it fits into the grease chute. So first thing I have to do is cut out some of this framing, and we know that this is dead center and that is about 5 inches wide. So we're gonna go Camera Kenny, half a 28. Camera Kenny, half of, come on.
Don't encourage.
All right, so we get 14-ish, give or take. And then do 2.5 each way. So this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not sure if this plate that's in the back is gonna wanna get in the way or not. My safety glasses on. There we go. All right, so this is gonna go fit into this. So I cut that out of the way, and what I'm gonna do is line this edge up with that, and I'm gonna mark it from the bottom and weld it. I just wanted to get an idea of how this fit in here, and it looks like we pretty much can center it right on that, and we're in good shape. So we'll take this back to the table. Now that we know where it is, I'll actually make a mark of the edges now that this kind of centered here. And this is only doing that because I didn't level this. It's just sitting on my garage floor. So let's take that back. All right, so we'll start marking that out. So I got my little coupler here. I got my marks that I made on the back, and I'm just gonna mark this on the inside because this is gonna go to the bottom of the griddle. So let's see here, center that in there, give or take. that. I think we got it. So we got the hole cut, as you can see. Looks pretty clean. We're just gonna clean up the top a little bit. Now I'll flip this over again. Clean this. One other thing I didn't mention is that this is welded on with all these spot welds, or they drill the holes and they fill it in with weld. This, as you can hear, a couple of the welds broke from going too heavy on the heat on my end, having this thing crank testing it out. So I just drilled a couple holes through where the welds were, and I'm just gonna put a little bit more weld in there too, just so that way I can reattach that, just so it doesn't make noise. Works fine, but then with this, now I wanna put this right over our little new hole, flush with the back, if that fits right there, so that way it gets us flush. Now we're gonna weld this. So I got the welder going here. Hopefully that battery's not dead in here, I can't really tell. Turn this bad boy on. And I'm just gonna tack this and then test it out, see if it fits. Camera Kenny, you clear?
Clear.
Let's go test it out, see if this whole system works. Test this bad boy out.
We're in there, perfect. Look at that.
Get some room to move so that way you can still adjust on the fly. That right there, it's nice stuff. Oh, that is so beautiful.
Looks good.
That's it. So now I'm just gonna weld this all up because that overlaps enough, it hits in the middle enough. Maybe straighten this out a little bit. Yeah, we're in business. We're in business, fellas. It's getting worse and worse, but it doesn't have to be structural. And now I'm just gonna fill these in. Get that. All right, clean this up with the grinder, see what else we need to do. So I got this welded. I got a little grinder action just to clean it up. This is the final fitting. It's the stuff. You guys ready for it? That's it. That's done, kinda. Camera Kenny, what do you think?
That's perfect. I want one.
I love that. I am
want
loving
one.
that so much. Takes up like,
Oh my God,
I don't get excited often. So we got that taken care of. Now I want to, obviously Nate used this like twice when Camshift gave it to us when it was brand new. And then he just put it in my garage and it's been sitting here for a couple months. So I gotta clean this all up. Once I clean this all up, I am going to put a coat of high temp paint on the outside and extremely high temp paint, exhaust paint on this, just to kind of clean it all up and make it look nice. Nothing on the cooking surface, obviously, but I hate how the outside starts to rust up. Like it just doesn't look nice, you know, when you're cooking. Camera Kenny, what do you think?
Go
You got
for
one of
it.
these. No, I know, but I mean, you know what I'm saying.
yeah. I know you. Yeah.
So when you're cooking with food, you don't want it to look dirty, you know.
Right.
So anyway, so I plan on high temp paint on the outside, and last thing I'm going to do on this video is I'm just going to put the cover together, get that set up, so that way this is technically ready to go. You know, once I clean this up and go from there. So let's get that cover going. Got to clean up my work area, and it should be a simple install. So we got the CC 12,000, as Chris likes to call it, done, or done enough. And what I'd like to do, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to, so this is just going to be a try, is I'm going to try and score this in the back just a little bit, put a lot of heat to it with the torch. I'm going to try and bend it straight. I don't know that that's going to work. So plan B is I'm just going to cut it off and then put a piece on the front. But my goal here is to try and take this off, score this. You can see where the break line is, the bend line, and then just try and bend it down with a little bit of heat and love. So let's get right to trying that. Worst case, it's not going to work. Whoa, that's not good. Too much heat. All right, we're gonna go to plan number 2. I'm gonna cut it off. Let this hopefully go back into shape. Kind of getting there. Gonna change up my battery and cutting wheel. Keep it going. Ha! Something. I think I got something. What do you think about that camera, Kenny?
What camera?
I said, what do you think about that camera, Kenny? How's that looking? Looks like just a little bit more. I think. That's pretty good. Pretty good enough at least. Yeah, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weld the backside where I cut it. Now that this is close. And then I'm gonna, once I put the weld in, then I'm gonna grind this flat because I got a little bit of a divot there from the bend. So I'm kind of grind that down a little bit. So I think, right there, I'm just gonna connect the piece. Just something like that. Can't really tell how perfect that is, but I don't really need it to be perfect, to be honest. I think that looks good. So now what I'm gonna do is just kind of fill this in with weld. It's pretty good. So I ground this down a little bit. It's on the bottom side, so nobody really has to see it. I'm not too worried about it. Now, I'm just gonna try and grind this flat. So what I've determined is that there is still a little bit of a dip there from the bend itself. So I think I'm gonna actually put a little bit of weld in that too, just to fill it. So that way it's nice and solid and straight. Okay. Let's give this another shot. All right, so coming up on the end of day 2, I did a lot of grinding to get this to sit flat. And I think it's because I didn't have it perfect. And then once I filled it in with the weld, that worked all right, but the far side seemed a little high, so it seems like I was grinding the metal itself, not just the weld. But anyways, it came out pretty flat, and now we're just gonna do these little end caps. So there's our part. Gonna cut that out, weld that in. I'm at the point where I'm giving up. Maybe I'll just do one of these just so you can see what it looks like, and then I'll call it and move on to day 3. All right. Little magnet action. That where she belongs. And I think that's it. I think that is it. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side and then call it a day. Actually, I'm gonna call it a day right now. I'll do this to the other side. Welder issues, there's always something. You know, there's always something going on, but I'm gonna give up for tonight. I am going to clean this all tomorrow, sand it all down, and I don't think it's gonna be warm enough to paint tomorrow, we'll see. But anyways, I wanna give this a coat of paint, high temp paint on the outside just to keep it from rusting. And then I'll start the season the griddle top and we'll test out the old CC 12,000. Welcome to New England, where 3 days ago it was almost 60 and today there's snow on the ground. But anyways, we are getting there. I spent 17 days, maybe more, grinding and grinding and grinding. And that is because I am not a welder, but I love it. I put a coat of high temp paint on the griddle, all on the outside edge because I hate that being rusty. And the look, I made sure I had this all taped off so no paint got on the inside. It may smell a little bit for a little while. Man, does that look gorgeous. My little coupler worked awesome. Anyways, because I had to do all this work up front, I decided just to take the whole thing down, and that way I'll have a nice consistent patina. So, Because I have all of the heat, high temp paint, I'm just gonna cycle this, warm it up a little bit, just to warm up the paint, because I painted it in like, I think it was like 42 degrees, something like that when I checked, and it said the lowest was 50. So hopefully it's not just gonna fall off, but we'll see. Gonna get to seasoning this, heat cycling it first, then seasoning it, and go from there. We made it to the end. And if you guys made it to the end, cheers. We appreciate it.
Cheers.
Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Even
The
though
CC 12,000
CC
is
12,000
done.
Waiting for Jeff to finish that has been the longest 3 years.
Yeah, we had to. That's why we're doing this right now. You guys are gonna see some pictures right now of the finished product.
I've been using it for a couple days. It's been incredible. It really has been. It's a game changer. My
$1 million
biggest-
question, Jeff. Was it worth the effort?
80 hours.
Filming, no,
100 hours?
definitely not. But as far as the actual work, yeah, I enjoy it. And I'll tell you, the reason why I did it is because I don't like emptying my grease trap all the time. I don't like worrying about it, and I definitely don't like it spilling out onto the deck. So this answers all of those questions, keeps it under the cover, keeps it off the deck.
A little different than your pet peeves. He's got his own, and he's
He
fixed
does,
that. So
Yeah. I personally, I love mine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I'm happy.
You'll see in some of the pictures that will float around that I used high temp paint, and I painted the actual chute itself. I painted the outside edge of the griddle top.
It's really a pet peeve of yours, isn't it?
It's a pet peeve of mine. Camp Chef does such an awesome job with their construction and the stainless steel look, and I can't stand seeing the rust on the outside edge. It doesn't affect the food.
A lot
So
of
that
people don't
happens
like
on
that.
the Camp Chef and the Blackstone. So
Happens
it'll be
on all of
interesting
them.
to see
How
if
it
that
holds up.
high temp paint holds up.
So I did the chute, I did the paint. You saw that I did the cover, which is just on Amazon. We'll have the link.
And going forward, you will see that griddle in action
A lot.
every time we cook at Jeff's house. And Nate's, what was yours called?
The 6,000.
The
Jeff
6,000.
had to be twice as good as
That
mine.
was the
CC
that was the SS 6000.
SS 6000. Now we got the CC 12,000.
Big,
Is
big
that
shout
the-
out to Camp Chef too for sending us those
Sure.
griddles. I mean, they didn't ask any questions; they just did it, and that's pretty impressive, especially for us, you know. But, anyways, thank you guys. Like, subscribe. We love the comments, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, working on comments now. Plan on our next video.
Cheers.
See you in the next video.
See you soon.